Hello again, students. I hope you're all doing fine. This is Matthias, your teacher, and this is elementary Swedish conversation class. A video lesson for chapter 3. Chapter 3 is all about numbers and about counting and being able to use numbers, not just for counting, but in normal expressions, talking about the time or about the street number or whatever. So if you look at page 26, you can see a box here with the numbers, and I will read them. I will read them slowly, one column at a time, and each column I will read it twice. And then your task is to try to put the right number on each line here, because here below it's not in the chronological order, but it's all mixed up. Okay, so let me read this column slowly twice, and then this column slowly twice, and so on. Okej, nu ska jag läsa siffrorna. Siffrorna means the numbers. I'm gonna read the numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was the first column. Let me read them once more. Listen carefully. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next column. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. One more time, the second column. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Third column. Listen carefully. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. One more time. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Next column. Listen. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. One more time. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay? Next column, it's 10 at a time. So 30, 40, 50, 60, and so on. And listen how it sounds in Swedish. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. One more time. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. And the last column. And here it goes up to 100, and then 101 and 2, and then a big jump to 1,000, and a big jump to 1 million. Listen carefully. 90, 100, 101, 102, 1,000, 1 million. One more time. 90, 100, 101, 102, 1,000, 1 million. Okay, if you really paid attention, you probably noticed there is something about the number 1. Sometimes we speak it out as N. Sometimes we speak it out as et. When you start counting from 0, you usually use the word ett. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But in everyday conversation, when it involves the number 1, it can sometimes be expressed with ett, sometimes with n. And you kind of already know that is Swedish language. Some nouns are called en something something or ett something something. So that's the reason why. You will see some examples soon enough. So now you know the pronunciation of the numbers, and your exercise here is to put the right number from here into here, because they are in a jumbled order. Try to read the text and figure out which number should come into the blank. Okay? Oh, the next page, 27, it's all about pronunciation. In pronunciation, there are two sounds which are a bit tricky to hear the difference. And they are called sju-ljudet and tjugo-ljudet. Sju-ljudet, like the sound for 7, and tjugo-ljudet, the sound for 20. They, for beginners like you, they may sound very confusingly similar, but there is a difference. Sju-ljudet has a more soft pronunciation. Sju, sju, sju. And it's more like blowing out air, and then the tongue comes out forward in your mouth, like in the picture here. Sju. And it's a softer sound. Tjugo-ljudet, it's more sharp and more powerful and a little bit pointed. That's the way, best way I can describe it. Listen to this. Tjugo, 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 tjugo. It's more a little bit aggressive and sharp. Tjugo. And here you have examples of words which involves either tjugo-ljudet or sju-ljudet. Let me read those words for you. Tjugo-ljudet. Tjugo. Tjej. Tjena. Kemist. Kina. It's all about sh, a little bit sharper sound. And then the softer sound, sju-ljudet, and I will read these words for you here. Sju, skild, chaufför, kanske, position. Sju, skild, chaufför, kanske, position. I'm not going to explain the meanings of these words right now. I can do it another time. I want you to focus on the difference between tjugo-ljudet och sju-ljudet. Alright? And if you paid attention and looked at these words, you also discovered that there are many different tricky spellings, spelling rules for these words. But I will not go into that now. That's too early. Let's move to the next page. Page 28. Here it is about how you can use the numbers. And first it says, säg jämna tal, säg udda tal, räkna baklänges. So what does it mean? Well, jämna tal means even numbers, like 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on. Säg jämna tal. And if we do that in Swedish, it would be 0, 2, 4, and then continuing 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and so on and so on. The next one, say udda tal. That means speak out odd numbers. Odd numbers like, for example, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and so on. And in Swedish that would be udda tal 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19. Okay, and so on. Räkna baklänges. That means to count backwards. Räkna means to count or to calculate. Baklänges means backwards, counting down. And in this example, it's 40, 39, 38, and so on. 40, 39, 38, 37, and so on. It's just an exercise. The next one is throwing dice and calculating the numbers. Let's skip that. Here is one very simple math. And here the point is, how do you read it out in Swedish? How do you read 5 plus 3 plus 6 equals 14? How do you say that in Swedish? Well, 5 plus 3 plus 6 är 14. 5 plus 3 plus 6 är 14. So you speak out the plus, of course, and you speak out the equal mark as är. It is. You could say är lika med, is equal to. That's more proper way of speaking. And in the second example here, 5 minus 3 plus 6 equals 8. How do you say that in Swedish? 5 minus 3 plus 6 är 8. Okay, so that's another example of how you use the numbers and speak out the numbers in Swedish language. Look at the bottom of page 28. Here are some dialogues where people speak to each other, for example, street address and so on, and it involves numbers. Let me read these dialogues for you and explain what they mean, okay? The big heading here says, Vilken gata bor du på? Gata means street. Which street do you live on? Which street do you live on? Vilken gata bor du på? Vilken gata bor du på? And the first dialogue, number 1, it starts like that. I will read. Vilken gata bor du på? På Linnégatan. Jaha, där bor min mamma också. Vilket nummer bor hon på? 68. Du då? 14. Okay, so let me explain. Just translate. Which street do you live on? On Linnégatan. Gatan meaning street. So on Linné Street. I see. My mother also lives there. My mother also lives there. Också means also. Which number does she live at? Or which number of that street does she live at? 68. 68. And you? Number 14. Okay? Let's look at number 2. I will read it first, in Swedish. Hur många barn har du? Hur många barn har du? 7. Oj. And the meaning is, how many children do you have? And the answer is 7. And their reaction is, oh dear, or oh. How about number 3? I'll read it. Vad har du för telefonnummer? Vad har du för telefonnummer? And then the answer, 0792 324789. Or you can read out the phone number like this: 0792 32 47 89. And then, okej, tack, jag ringer dig imorgon. Okej, tack, jag ringer dig imorgon. The meaning is, what telephone number do you have? And then the answer, the phone number. And as you noticed, you can read it out in different ways. Usually in Swedish, we bunch two numbers together at a time. So instead of reading out all single numbers, we group them into 2 by 2 by 2. I can explain more about that later. And then the response, okay, tack, okay, thank you. I will call you tomorrow. I will call you tomorrow. And then look at number 4, the dialogue. Listen. När är du född? När är du född? 1973. Du då? 1981. Jaha, samma år som min lilla syster. Okay, let me explain. Translate. When are you born, or when were you born? In 1973. 1973. That's the way you say in English, and that's the way you say in Swedish. 1973. So 1973. That's the way you say out your birth year or the year. How about you? 1981. 1981. I see, the same year as my smaller sister, as my younger sister. Listen to number 5. Morfar, är du gammal? Oj, oj, oj. Ja, jag är mycket gammal. Ja, men hur gammal är du? 100 år? Nej, så gammal är jag faktiskt inte. Jag fyller 83 år i år. Jag fyller 83 i år. And what does it mean? Well, let me explain. This is a grandchild talking to her grandfather, morfar, asking morfar, grandfather, how old are you? Or are you old? Are you old? And grandfather answers, oh, yes, I am very old. And then the child says, yes, but how old are you? 100 years? And the grandfather says, no, I'm not that old, actually. The word faktiskt means actually. I will celebrate 83 years this year. Okay? And finally, number 6. How much coffee? I must say it in Swedish first. Hur mycket kaffe dricker man i Sverige? Hur mycket kaffe dricker man i Sverige? And the response? Ungefär 150 liter per person och år. Ungefär 150 liter per person och år. And the reaction? Oj, vad mycket. Oj, vad mycket. And the translation? How much coffee do you drink in Sweden? You, the people, or people in general. So man, the word man, in this case, means people in general, you Swedish people. Ungefär 150 liter per person och år. That means approximately. Ungefär means about or approximately. 150 liters of coffee per person, each person per year. And then reaction, oh, that's a lot. That's a lot. And at the bottom here are frågeord, question words again. You know some of them, but not all. Vilken, vilket, vad, för, hur många, hur mycket. Vilken means which, or which kind, or what. Same thing with vilket. Vilket, vilken are very much the same meaning. What, which. Vad för? Vad, dot, 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 för, meaning what kind of, what sort of, something, something. Hur många means how many, something that you can count, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hur mycket, how much, which is sort of not something you can count, but it is an uncountable noun, like air or time or space or volume. So how many, hur många, how much, hur mycket. Okay? All right. Then let's move on to the last part here on page 29. And I will not be able to finish all of this because talking about the time and the clock is a little bit complicated, and I can only explain parts of it, the basic elements. Okay? First of all, this means, this one is hur mycket är klockan? Hur mycket är klockan? How much is the clock? That's literally what it means. But in English you would say, what time is it? Hur mycket är klockan? How much is the clock? But no, you don't say that in English. You say, what time is it? Hur mycket är klockan? And then 1, 2, 3, 4 dialogues, and I will read them and explain for you. Number 1. Ursäkta, hur mycket är klockan? Hon är 6:30. Tack. And it means, excuse me, what time is it? She is 6:30. Or it is 6:30. Thank you. And in Sweden, some people would say, den är 6:30. It is 6:30. Other people would say, hon är 6:30. She is. Like the time or the clock is something like a woman or feminine. But don't think too much about that. It's just an expression. Hon är 6:30. Number 2. Vad är klockan? Also meaning, what time is it? Den är 6:05. It is 5 minutes past 7. And then, okay, tack så mycket. Okay, tack så mycket, meaning, okay, thank you very much. So, number 3. Ursäkta, har du en klocka? Ja, hon är 6:15. Oj, redan. And the meaning is, excuse me, do you have the time? Do you have a watch? Yes, she is 6:45. 6:45. And then the response, oj, redan means, oh, already. Number 4. Vet du vad klockan är? Vet du vad klockan är? Ja, hon är prick 7. Jaha, tack. And the translation or explanation, do you know what time it is? Yes, she is exactly 7:00. Prick 7 meaning precisely, exactly 7. Jaha, I see. Thank you. And let me pick up the whiteboard briefly and show some things for you. Look at this. When you ask about the time, there are different ways of asking for the time. You could say, hur mycket är klockan? Hur mycket är klockan? It literally means, how much is the clock? But in English we don't say that. We say, what time is it? Hur mycket är klockan? Another way of asking is, vad är klockan? Vad är klockan? What is the time? Or what is the clock? But in English you say, what time is it? Or what is the time? Vad är klockan? And the answer is, den är. It is, and then whatever time it is. You could also say hon, like she. Hon är 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock or whatever. But I normally say just den är. But there is no sharp rule about this. People say den or hon, and everything is just fine. And for telling the time, the easiest is to know at least the full hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So those are the numbers for the full hours, which are the easiest, point in time to speak about. And then, so if it's 1 o'clock, you will say klockan är, den är 1. Klockan är 1, eller den är 1. And then you can add some information. You can talk about what time of the day. So this one, på morgonen, that means in the morning, på morgonen. På förmiddagen, that means in the morning until noon, until lunchtime, på förmiddagen. På eftermiddagen, meaning in the afternoon, after lunch. På eftermiddagen. På kvällen, meaning in the evening, early evening. På natten means in the middle of the night. And I would say from midnight and until maybe 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Okay? So I will continue in the next lesson talking more in detail about how do you talk about the clock, about the time in more detail. But these were just the full hours. I hope this was helpful for you and that you enjoyed the video lesson. Tack så mycket. Tack alla studenter och hej då. Vi ses nästa gång. Hej då.